Have you ever stopped to ask yourself what daily life is really like in one of the world's most sanctioned nations, Iran? A country often caught between headlines and history, between truth and stereotype. For many, Iran is a blank space, a place defined more by politics than by people. But behind the curtain of news and noise lies a world that may surprise you, rich in color, tradition, resilience, and beauty. Is it truly the land that media has painted it to be? Or is there another side, softer, deeper, more human? If you're curious, if you're willing to question what you've heard, stay with us until the very end, because this journey may just change the way you see not only Iran, but the world itself. And if you'd like to explore more stories like this, we'd love to have you with us in the next video. 1. Iran, a land of unexpected landscapes. To many, Iran conjures one image: endless sand under a burning sun. But that picture is only a sliver of the truth. Iran's terrain tells a story far more diverse and far more beautiful than most imagine. While countries like Saudi Arabia are almost entirely desert, Iran is different. Only about 22% of its land is classified as desert. The rest is a mosaic of mountains, valleys, forests, and coastline. To the north, where the Caspian Sea meets the foot of the Alborz Mountains, the air is cool and the earth lush. Villages peek through emerald hills where fig trees grow wild and clouds drift low. People come here not to survive the heat, but to embrace the mist. Then, a few hours drive south, and you're standing in a different world, where the sun touches the Persian Gulf and palm trees sway beside the sea. It's a shift so sudden, it feels unreal. In one day, you can throw a snowball in the north and dip your feet in warm water by sunset. This contrast is part of everyday life for Iranians. It shapes their culture, their habits, their holidays. Families travel between climates as easily as others cross neighborhoods. Forest picnics, mountain hikes, seaside weddings, all exist within a single country and often within the same weekend. Iran is not a desert nation. It is a land of surprise. A country that challenges first impressions, not with arguments, but with beauty you have to see to believe. Number 2, Iranian women. Grace, strength, and surprising freedom. They walk with quiet confidence, eyes deep as poetry, brows bold as calligraphy, their presence shaped by history, yet never bound by it. Iranian women carry a beauty that's not just physical, it's cultural, layered, and quietly defiant. To the outside world, one image often dominates: the hijab. It's true that headscarves are legally required in public, but to assume that Iranian women are silent, hidden, or powerless is to misunderstand what you're truly seeing. Today, in cities like Tehran, fashion breathes through the folds of fabric. Scarves slip back just slightly, colors brighten, silhouettes evolve. The law remains, but the interpretation lives in the hands of the people. In recent years, enforcement has eased, especially in more secular areas. Women with and without headscarves walk side by side, not in protest, but in quiet coexistence. And beyond the streets, their presence is everywhere. Nearly 60% of university students are women. They work as doctors, architects, artists, engineers. They vote, they teach, they build. And they do it all while navigating a culture that is both modern and traditional, restrictive and resilient. Yes, challenges remain. In some cases, a woman still needs permission from her father or husband to travel abroad. And yet, within those limits, many push forward, not loudly but steadily, changing the future one choice at a time. What's perhaps most surprising is this: the strength of Iranian women isn't just in defiance, it's in their ability to flourish within complexity, to live fully, express deeply, and inspire quietly, even when the world isn't watching. Number 3, Tehran, a city of movement, memory, and markets. At first glance, Tehran can feel overwhelming, a metropolis of nearly 15 million people, pulsing with motion and sound. But look closer, and it reveals a different rhythm, one that blends centuries of tradition with the pace of modern life. By day, the city breathes in waves. The subway hums beneath your feet, carrying workers, students, and dreamers across the capital for less than a dime. The Tehran Metro, one of the cleanest and most affordable in the world, serves as more than just transport. It's a shared ritual, a space where strangers stand shoulder to shoulder, heading somewhere with purpose. Separate train cars for women ensure comfort during rush hours, but most prefer the mixed ones. Friends chatting, laughter flowing, lives quietly intersecting. And then there's the Grand Bazaar, not just a market, but a memory. Winding through narrow corridors, you'll find goldsmiths beside spice vendors, antique dealers next to carpet merchants. Vaulted ceilings filter light through old brickwork. The scent of saffron and rosewater drifts past hand-woven textiles. You don't have to buy a thing to feel something here. Every corner whispers a story of trade, of family, of endurance. Vendors greet you like old friends, whether you speak Persian or not. On Fridays, the energy shifts. In a city where the weekend falls on Thursday and Friday, artists and artisans gather in pop-up markets, selling handmade jewelry, ceramics, and embroidered scarves. It's a different kind of bazaar, younger, bolder, more personal. Here in Tehran, daily life is not defined by limitation, but by adaptation. People navigate the old and the new with ease, riding subways beneath ancient soil, haggling in bazaars while scrolling through smartphones. It's not chaos. It's choreography, and it's uniquely, unmistakably Iranian. Number 4. Sigheh, Iran's quietly controversial tradition. In many cultures, love before marriage is a quiet rebellion. In Iran, it takes a different shape, one wrapped not in secrecy, but in paperwork. It's called Sigheh, a form of temporary marriage that, while rooted in centuries-old Islamic tradition, still surprises many both inside and outside the country. The rules are clear. It must be consensual. The couple must agree on the duration, a month, a year, even just a few days. The man is expected to provide financial support, and depending on her status, the woman may need consent from a guardian. Once agreed upon, the couple visits a mosque, signs a contract, and the union becomes legal, if only for a time. To some, Sigheh offers a practical solution, a way to recognize relationships openly, especially in a society where premarital intimacy is taboo. For others, it's deeply controversial. Supporters say it reduces the risks of hidden relationships and helps prevent illegal sex work, particularly in a country where nearly 2/3 of the population is under 25 and youth unemployment remains high. Critics, however, point to emotional tolls, unequal power dynamics, and the societal stigma that often follows women who participate. Some contracts result in children, others end quietly without lasting ties. And while the practice is legal, it remains cloaked in silence, known but rarely named. In truth, Sigheh isn't easy to explain. It lives in the gray space between tradition and necessity, between religious law and social reality. And whether you see it as a form of protection or a source of pain, it offers something rare, a window into how one society grapples with love, desire, and morality, all within the bounds of law. Number 5. The Qashqai, a nomadic tribe where women choose the second wife. In the highlands of southern Iran, where green pastures stretch into the horizon and the rhythm of life still follows the hooves of migrating herds, lives one of the country's most resilient communities, the Qashqai. This Turkic-speaking tribe, believed to have journeyed from Central Asia centuries ago, now numbers around 400,000. They move with the seasons, setting up tents beneath open skies, weaving their identity into the very land they walk. But what truly sets them apart isn't just their carpets or their music. It's a custom that quietly challenges conventional ideas of love and marriage. Here, If a woman is unable to bear children, she may choose a second wife for her own husband. It's not a tale of rivalry, it's a gesture of continuity. The first wife makes the decision. She selects the new bride, and in most cases, the husband has no say. The custom is seen not as surrender, but as strength, an act rooted in the survival of family and tribe. Being unmarried in Qashqai society carries quiet shame. Marriage is not just a bond of love, it is duty, legacy, the passing of tradition. And within that duty, women are not simply passive participants. They are curators of continuity. But times are shifting. Climate change, economic uncertainty, and pressure from the government to settle permanently have pushed many Qashqai into cities. The younger generation faces a quiet tug-of-war to stay with the old ways, or to step into a world where the tents are gone, but the future feels clearer. Still, in mountain festivals and spring gatherings, the spirit lives on. Women in vivid embroidered dresses dance beside their children. Songs echo in the valleys, and somewhere in that music, you can still hear the voice of a people determined not to vanish. In the story of Iran, the Qashqai are a living thread, woven tightly and not easily undone. Number 6. Iran's timeless cities, where empires sleep and poetry breathes. Some places whisper their stories. Iran's cities, they sing them. Scattered across this ancient land are urban tapestries that hold the weight of empire, the silence of ruins, and the soul of poetry. Each city is a page. Together, they tell a tale that spans thousands of years. Begin in Persepolis, once the beating heart of the Persian Empire. Now just stone and shadow, its giant columns still rise proudly against the desert sky. Carvings on its walls speak without words of kings, processions, and dreams carved into limestone. You don't just visit Persepolis, you walk into a memory. In Tehran, the modern capital, stands the Golestan Palace, a 19th century masterpiece from the Qajar era. Its mirrored halls reflect not just light, but a time when Iran balanced Persian tradition with European flair. Nearby, the National Museum holds relics from prehistoric settlements to Islamic dynasties, a journey across civilizations, room by room. Then there is Isfahan, often called half the world. At its center lies Naqsh-e-Jahan Square, among the largest public squares on Earth. Domed mosques shimmer in blue tile, while palaces rise over gardens where fountains still dance. Bridges like Sio-Sepol stretch across the Zayandeh River, inviting late-night walks and quiet conversation beneath archways. Travel south, and you reach Shiraz, the city of roses and verses. This is where the great Persian poets Hafez and Saadi rest, their tombs visited not as monuments, but as sacred spaces. Locals come not just to honor them, but to read aloud, to reflect, to ask the kind of questions only poetry dares to hold. In Shiraz's Aram Garden, with its cypress-lined paths and tiled pavilions, time itself seems to slow. You can almost hear the past breathing between the leaves. To visit these cities is not just to admire architecture, it is to feel the pulse of something larger, a civilization that never truly sleeps, only waits to be seen. Iran doesn't ask you to believe the headlines, it invites you to walk its streets and let the stones tell their story. Number 7. Land of extremes, deserts, mountains, and the raw beauty of Iran. There are places in the world where nature speaks softly. And then there's Iran, where it speaks in bold strokes. This is a land of contrasts, not only in culture, but in geography, where mountains kiss the clouds, deserts ripple like oceans of fire, and the silence of nature feels almost holy. In the southeast lies Dasht-e-Lut, one of the hottest places on Earth. Recognized by UNESCO, it's a world of surreal formations, wind-sculpted ridges, vast salt plains, and rock structures that resemble ancient fortresses built by no hand. Temperatures here once reached 159 degrees Fahrenheit, 70.7 degrees Celsius. a number that seems almost mythic. Yet the beauty is undeniable. When the sun sinks low, the sand turns gold, then crimson, then violet. And in that fleeting hour, the desert doesn't feel harsh. It feels eternal. To the north lies Dasht-e-Kavir, Iran's largest desert. It's less about heat, more about scale. Salt lakes stretch endlessly, cracked into geometric patterns by sun and time. Red canyons carve through the silence like open wounds in the earth. Travelers who venture here don't come for comfort. They come to witness something ancient, unfiltered, and humbling. But Iran is not just desert. The Zagros Mountains to the west and the Alborz Range to the north offer highland trails, snow-capped peaks, and alpine forests. In spring, wildflowers bloom in meadows where nomads pitch their tents and shepherds still sing to their flocks. Few countries offer this kind of geographic theater. In a single journey, you can move from icy cliffs to blistering sand dunes, from lush waterfalls to dry riverbeds echoing with wind. To experience Iran's nature is not to chase comfort, it's to rediscover scale. It's to feel small in the best possible way. Number 8. The Crossroads of Continents, Iran's strategic heartbeat. Geography is destiny, and few countries embody that more than Iran. Nestled at the meeting point of Central Asia, the Middle East, and the Caucasus, Iran is more than a place. It's a passage. For centuries, traders, armies, and empires passed through its mountains and valleys. Today, that ancient rhythm continues, but in modern form. Iran shares borders with 7 nations, from Turkey and Iraq in the west to Afghanistan and Pakistan in the east. To the north, it touches the Caspian Sea. To the south, the Persian Gulf. This dual access to major waterways makes Iran a rare bridge between landlocked Central Asia and the open seas. At Bandar Abbas, cargo ships unload goods from China, Europe, and beyond. Highways stretch like veins across the country, linking inland towns to international trade. And with one of the largest rail networks in Asia, Iran connects cities not only within its own borders, but increasingly with its neighbors. For travelers, this means movement is easier than many assume. Domestic high-speed trains link Tehran with Isfahan, Shiraz, and Mashhad in just a few hours. International flights depart daily to Europe, Asia, and the Middle East from Imam Khomeini International Airport and others. And for certain nationalities, visa-free or visa-on-arrival travel makes exploring Iran surprisingly accessible. Yes, the country faces sanctions. Yes, politics cast long shadows. But beneath that, the infrastructure hums, moving people, ideas, and goods at a steady pace. Iran is not isolated, it's connected, not closed off, but cross-linked. And that quiet heartbeat at the center of Asia, it keeps pulsing, whether the world listens or not. Number 9. A culture of hospitality, where strangers are treated like family. For all the architecture, landscapes, and ancient ruins, what visitors remember most about Iran isn't what they saw, it's who they met. In Iranian culture, hospitality isn't just a virtue, it's a duty, a quiet, unspoken code passed down through generations. If someone enters your space, you take care of them. It begins with a greeting, warm, director. Eyes that linger just long enough to say, I see you. Whether you're a guest or a stranger on the street, don't be surprised if someone offers you tea, asks about your journey, or even invites you home for a meal. And it's not a performance, it's genuine. In rural villages, this kindness is almost sacred. In cities like Tehran or Shiraz, it lives just as strongly. In cab drivers who refuse your fare, shopkeepers who add gifts to your bag, or elders who press fresh fruit into your hand with a smile. There's a word for it, ta'aruf, a social dance of humility and generosity, where people often offer things they may not expect you to accept. Declining is polite. Accepting eventually is human. It can be confusing at first, but once you understand it, it feels like poetry in practice. Even with language barriers, kindness finds a way. A shared laugh, a drawn map, a moment of silence over shared bread. In a world that sometimes feels fractured, Iran reminds us of something older, simpler, that being seen, welcomed, and remembered matters more than being entertained. Travelers may come for the landmarks, but they return again and again for the people. Number 10. Breaking the myths. Iran isn't what you think. For many, Iran exists as an idea, shaped by headlines, politics, and secondhand stories. But when you finally see it for yourself, something begins to shift. You realize Iran isn't just desert. It's snow-capped peaks, lush forests, and salt plains that stretch beyond sight. It isn't a nation frozen in time. Its cities hum with art, music, and innovation. It's not a place where all women are veiled and silent. They lead classrooms, companies, and conversations. No, Iranians don't all speak Arabic. Their language is Persian, melodic, and ancient, closer to European roots than Semitic ones. Not everyone here is devout, and not everyone is political. You see young couples walking hand in hand, street musicians playing in underground metros, cafes buzzing with quiet debates and bright ideas. There's a tech scene, a fashion sense, a deep love for poetry, and yes, for Western music too. Women drive, men dance, people laugh, and life. You begin to realize that most of what you knew was just noise. Conclusion. So, what do you see now? After all this, after desserts and cities, traditions and taboos, poetry and people, how do you see Iran now? Not as a headline, not as a warning, but as a country, layered, alive, deeply human. We hope this journey left you not with answers, but with better questions. And maybe, just maybe, a little more curiosity for the stories we rarely hear. Let us know in the comments what surprised you most, or what you'd like to explore next. And if these quiet stories speak to you, we'd love to see you again in the next video. Thanks for watching. And until then, may your mind stay open and your heart stay curious.